What's going on, everyone? Seth Miranda here, coming to you from my streaming setup right here in Brooklyn. And if you don't know who I am, I'm a pro photographer right here in New York. And I do a lot of demos on studio, lighting, photo in general. I do a lot of education on that kind of stuff for brands. And this one was for Adorama, where I'm a content producer. And this was a live demo from a few years ago from their event space that was at the store. And it was about speedlights. So I get a lot of questions about speedlights, and this one is really about DIY materials, what you can do with stuff lying around you to make better light for your subject, what you can get out of a dollar store, and even some modifiers you can just buy off the shelf that you can fit in your bag, low cost, and get great results in a few minutes doing portraits with some speedlights. The interesting thing about this one though is I put up a poll on my Instagram, and I actually asked people if they wanted me to use some budget-friendly stuff like Flashpoint, where the speedlights were like $60 to $100 maybe, or did they want me to use my actual kit, which is ProPhoto A1, A1X's, A10s, which is quite pricier. Well, the response is overwhelming for the budget stuff. No surprise there, but it worked just fine, and you can check out the results right here in this demo. Now, I even tried to do something a little different this time, live on the spot. I never tried doing the Peter Hurley type headshot with just speedlights, so you guys get to see that here. This is off of Facebook. This was live streamed to Adorama's Facebook page. I had to rip it off of there. So again, I apologize for the quality. I tried to edit it down as much as I could. I tried to make it coherent. There are parts of the stream that are just missing because Facebook streaming sucks. And I get that a lot of people avoid Facebook like the plague, and I don't blame you. And that's why I guess a lot of people ask me to find these demos and put them back out there. They don't do too well on this channel. This is the third one I'm putting out there. So if you do like it, please go back and check those out as well. But those of you who do ask for them and do check them out, the response is 100% positive and really incredible to see. So this is for you. I hope you guys enjoy this demo. Don't forget to like, share this video around, hit subscribe, plus the bell to get notified when more videos like this come out. And I'll see you guys soon. Enjoy the demo. So I'm Seth Miranda. This is Adorama. This is Caroline. Caroline, I need a high five. Yeah. We have to activate. As I was just telling everybody, I'm going to be running this stream by myself. So Facebook, chill out if I'm a little slow at switching this to get to the shot. I know there's a picture-in-picture going on right now. We'll get through this. Let me start off by saying this is Fast Solution with Speedlights. How many guys own Speedlights? How many guys hate Speedlights? Everybody raised their hand again, right? Yeah, everyone thinks Speedlights suck. And one of the main reasons that is, let me take this off really quick. One of the reasons that is because it's just like a wall of light. It's like this thing you put on your camera, it chucks a ton of light, it hits like a brick, and no one looks good with it unless you're an American Apparel ad, apparently, right? Like it looks like just a very washed out look, or it's a hard light, specular highlights. You see like the forehead gets the white spot, the nose gets the white spot, hard chin shadow, shadows projected on the wall, all sorts of stuff like that. Personally, I've always been a speedlight guy. In fact, this specific demo was the first demo I ever taught here at Adorama 4 years ago. So that's how long I've been doing this. I recently got back from Europe, took 5 speedlights with me as my whole kit, and I shot for Makeup Forever in Paris doing that. And you guys can see that on Adorama TV if you guys want to see like really elaborate speedlight setups. Tonight we're going to have fun with it though. I want to do stuff, number one, that is super portable, because that's one of the benefits of speedlights, right? What's like the best part about speedlights for you guys? Why did you buy one, right? Why did you even buy one? Because it's portable. What else? They pack a lot of power and they fit in your pocket, and they're really malleable to do whatever you need to do with them. They're super light, and you could duct tape them to a wall if you have to do that. And back when I shot for BMX magazines, I actually did duct tape them to like cars and phone and poles and stuff like that. Lost a lot of them. Also bought a lot of really cheap ones, so I didn't care. I did care. I was like a broke kid, but whatever. But you know, you duct tape it to a car, that car drives away and you're wondering where your light went. That's probably what, or the homeless guy stole them. That was a good one. And I put up a poll on Instagram if you guys want me to use my ProPhoto A1s, which I love, but it's $1,000 speedlight. Or would you want me to use these flash points? And it was like overwhelming, over 600 votes. Please use the flash points. So that's what we're going to use today. I'm not going to shoot in TTL. How many guys know what TTL is? Through the lens. TTL is literally your light. If I were to shoot color in TTL, my light would spit out a little bit of light before I take the shot. My camera would read that light, and if based on the aperture I set my camera to, it would adjust the power of the speed light. Now the problem with that is it does it every shot, so it doesn't know that you're variating. If it sees a little bit more of that white wall behind her, it's going to change the exposure. If I were to shoot myself like this, if I were to shoot myself with my shirt closed in TTL, then open up my shirt with this white shirt, it would change the exposure. My skin's the same skin. So I don't like taking that control out of my hands. So I'm gonna shoot in manual tonight. We're gonna start off with just putting this on my camera. We're just gonna take a face forward shot of Caroline. Let's take a seat. Now, Caroline, I needed a model tonight, so I was like, I put out my ginger telepathy and she just showed up at my door. No, she actually came by my studio, and let me just show you guys that this is what we shot right out of camera with her. And maybe at the end of this, we'll do the same exact look just with speedlights. Okay, you guys wanna get into that? Yeah, okay, let me do this. All right, this is a Flashpoint lithium ion R2 TTL flash that just shut off, and there we go. I'm gonna put it in TTL and just do a straight shot. And then after that, just to do comparison of like where we start and all that kind of stuff. All right, I'm gonna shoot with a Nikon D850 with a 24-120 full f4 lens. We all good so far, everybody? Yeah? I'm even gonna give myself a little bit of a break and use the dome diffuser. Okay, I know this is gonna save my life. This is the only thing I need apparently, is just this dome that comes with your flashes all the time. What's up, man? Same as a Stofan? It is a Stofan pretty much, yeah. What this does is it just spreads the light around. It's not gonna be a softbox. It's not gonna be a fix. But what it does help is filling modifiers, like if I put it in a softbox, or if I'm bouncing around, instead of being so directional, it'll spill a little bit. It's not gonna change anything here, but let's change this into full TTL as a master flash. All right, spin to me. Spin, spin, spin. Let's take a look. I'm gonna take a just straight up horrible photo of you. And oh wow, okay. Yeah, this is, I mean, what could go wrong, right? I have a top end Nikon, it's in TTL. What, it's gotta be, that's gotta be that's gotta be it, right? That has to be the end, we're done. All right, thanks. We're out of here. No, here's the thing about speedlights that you have to realize, is just because it has automatic functions doesn't mean it's gonna do everything you're trying to get it to do. You have to refine this light. The way we wanna make this light refined is because we wanna trick it into being bigger than it is. How do we do that, right? So when it comes to hard or soft light, everyone thinks that hard and soft is like dimness, right? Like it's something about like how hard it hits. What it really is shadow pattern. If I'm shooting Caroline and you see this hard shadow right under here, that's a defined line. I mean, even like her hair is getting lost in here, this crazy hard shadow back here, that's because it's a small source. The size of her head is a little bit larger than my light. If I make the light bigger, 5-foot octabank, 60-inch umbrellas. These things exist because they're trying to make a bigger light. Bigger the light, the softer that light looks. Softer meaning the shadow pattern gradates. So instead of having a hard line, it breaks down gradually. Well, I could easily do something where we throw a softbox onto a light and we're done here, right? But I want to show you exactly what I'm talking about. So let's do some DIY materials first, and then we'll refine it with like actual stuff you can buy. But I want you to get the principles down. So let's say you're at a birthday party, right? And you got that one weird uncle that's super tall that you don't let near the kids' table too long, that guy? Well, yeah, she gets it. Well, $1 tissue paper that comes out of one of those gifts is the same thing as the front of a softbox. This, when my light hits it, transcends over it and makes this the size of my light. I'm not kidding you. I'm gonna run out of space here. It always looks like a garage sale up here, I know. Everyone gives me a hard time for it. Daniel Norton every day gives me a hard time for it. All right, let me just grab this Speedlight, and you can see that the whole paper illuminates, right? Like that's the size of this light. So it went from being this size to this size with $1 tissue paper. Now, you wouldn't be putting it on a C-stand like this, but this is what I got. So you guys are gonna let me off the mat on this one. But we're gonna do this. We're gonna make this my light source. Okay, so I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take this guy off. I set up a bunch of random stuff and I was just gonna grab and go as I was gonna go ahead. But let's just do this. So with $1 of tissue paper from the finest dollar store of Brooklyn, we will make a really quick overhead soft light. Probably should have set this up a little earlier. Bear with me, guys. The point of this is, I'm gonna put this right over your head. So I'm gonna put this one close and I'm gonna lower this one. And why am I doing that? Because when I do this, it puts it at an angle rather than just straight overhead, which is kind of what we want, right? So how am I gonna brace this? I got some tape. So now we have this size light. Right off the bat, this isn't gonna be the most amazing light, but we can keep on working on it, and I'll show you. So this is an off-camera light. I'm gonna set this to group A, channel 3, and the reason I'm doing channel 3 is, if someone's checking out a light and they're on channel 1, they're gonna fire channel 1 over here. So if you're in a crowded space, stay off of channel. I'm gonna take this off because I'm dying. We all good so far? Yeah? All right, cool. Wow, that's a mug shot. I keep looking at it like, that's terrible. I gotta do better than that. She's a really beautiful girl. This is a master articulating arm, by the way. This is a Noga articulating arm. I use these a lot, and it's one of the benefits of Speedlights. I have an arm that collapses down and that fits in my bag that can carry the weight of a Speedlight. You know what I mean? You can't do that with a monolight. You wanna take a full-on studio monolight? Yeah, you'll have 400, 500 watt seconds of light, but you're not mounting it like this. So you gotta be prepared for that. All right, so right off the bat, because I'm not doing TTL, I'm gonna set this to, let's start at an 1/8 power. I'm gonna start at an 1/8 power because I'm gonna start in the middle of the road, and I'm gonna start at an aperture that's middle of the road, and that gives me leeway to go brighter or darker, and same thing on my camera. It gives me both directions, but typically what you wanna do is pick an aperture that you want your depth of field at. I'm gonna stick to f8, 200 a second, and I'm gonna stick to a middle of the road power. So let's take a look at what this mess is gonna look like. You have faith?
I do.
She has faith, oh boy. My ISO is 100. I'm controlling the light, so why put any noise into it? What am I syncing it with?
I know, what speed is the camera syncs to?
Oh, I'm at 200th of a second just to play it safe, but normally I would do 250th. And the reason I do 200th is I found that a lot of mirrorless systems do only 200, so it just keeps things easy for live stream. Where's that initial light that I had? Oh, so this is gonna be a trigger now. I'm not gonna have this activate as a flash. It could be an on-camera fill if I want it to be, maybe we'll do that, but I got a pretty better idea for the fill light. So let's do this into master mode, and I'm gonna go into group A, right? I'm gonna shut this flash off, so mode off, and group A, we're gonna set that to an 1/8 power, right? So how you doing, you all right?
Yeah, I'm doing great.
Cool. So I'm really warm, I gotta tell you. As soon as you start talking, it gets to like 1,000,000,000 degrees and you don't even realize it. Yeah. So let's go to 1/8 power. Let's take a shot. We're gonna have no fill from underneath. It's okay. I'm gonna do this just so that people can see what this looks like. So we got a softer light, right? Let's go back. So we have a softer light, but we have nothing coming from underneath. Okay. So I'll take a pizza box from the party. Everybody loves the pizza box. And by the way, all pizza boxes aren't created equal. I'll go into which pizza boxes to look for. This actually isn't even the one I want. Let me see. Oh, here it is. This is the better one. Okay. I'll go into it in a minute. Just let me get this shot off. I'm gonna put it right there and, whoop. Oh, wow. It's gotta be, I think the shoe is getting crushed. Okay, let's take a look. All right. Super soft light from one Speedlight, a pizza box, and $1 of tissue paper, and a whole lot of headaches. I know. That's sync issues though. So let's just take a real quick look. Look at where we were, right? Straight on flash, one light, same one light overhead with a big diffuser over there, light overhead with something bouncing back. And I mean something, I used a pizza box, so let's get that straight, all right? What I want you to realize though is when it comes to reflective surfaces, see how this is like matte paper? Not as good as this clay board with a bit of a sheen to it. And when you guys are getting those circle reflectors, same thing goes. When you look at them, look at the sheen of them, okay? The lower cost ones might not have a sheen to them and you're gonna be fighting with it. It's not gonna give you the same bounce as you would with a pizza box. Plus, not with a pizza box, I'm sorry, with like something with a sheen. Plus what's really cool about a pizza box, as dumb as this sounds, is you can actually go like this with it and get a different type of bounce out of it. Although this would reflect a little bit of warmth to it, but well, let's try, why not? Why don't you just hold it like this? Just give me a little more of a bend. This is ridiculous, I know. Turn a little bit to me, yeah, that's it, yep. Let's take a look. And you can see like one side reflected different. You can even see the warmth coming through on that shadow side. What I'm trying to show you guys is that everyone hates on Speedlights really fast because they put it on their camera, they think TTL and go. It's not about the exposure, it's about the pattern of the light, and the quality of that light. All TTL is gonna do for you is exposure, right? Don't blow out the skin. Okay, cool. Well, if you look at the TTL shot that we got, her skin's exposed, right? I mean, I have details in my highlight. Look at that, details in my highlight, right? That's exposed, right? But when you refine that light, same single speed light. But why did it change? That's what I need you guys to get out of this, is pretty much the fact that we changed the size of it and we diffused it. Diffusion does not make it softer. Diffusion takes away that specular highlight. You see right here on her forehead, there's a little bit specular. See right under her eye? She's not that oily. That's just the reflection that hit back because the angle the light's at. Once you even just take the light off of your camera, you're changing the angle of that reflection. You'll see a big difference in the quality of that light. But when you use a diffusion, I mean, I'm not kidding. This is $1 from Bushwick, okay? I guarantee you this has some sort of mold on it, but it still did the job, right? Now, are we good with this setup? I'm gonna take it down. We'll never see it again. Oh no, it's a whole $1, no. I do that one just to prove a point. I want you guys to realize that everything you buy started out just like that. It was a DIY material to control light. I don't care if it's a $600 Chimera box. A SoftBox started out with someone putting something in front of a light to make it look cleaner, okay? If you check out my own YouTube, you can see that I used gift bags and tissue paper to create SoftBoxes all the time. It's my annual holiday extravaganza. So let's change this up. What did I say just makes light softer? What makes the light softer? Diffusion. Not true. What did I just say? Diffusion just makes the specular highlights go away. What makes it softer? You're not sitting dead. No one sits dead in my class. I don't like quiet classes, and you know that. Making it bigger. You want to make it a bigger light. Cool. Well, another staple classic of mine is this. People think I'm crazy, but I really do take dollar balloons and keep them in my bag all the time. I keep tissue paper, balloons, and tin foil in my bags all the time because they take up no space. They're ridiculous. They put on a little bit of a show, and they can make my light bigger. I'll show you. I do balloons on my live streams all the time, so I apologize if this isn't fresh for you, but, and this tastes horrible. This tastes terrible. It has a taste. Yeah, it's like depression of a kid's failed future. You can just like, oh, it has a hole in it already. Look at that. All right, dollar balloon, see? I'm doing great. I got flashes that won't sink, balloons that won't inflate. I'm sure Facebook's killing it. You can smell it, right? It smells like Bushwick store. It's Bushwick store. That's exactly what it is. Anybody here from Bushwick also? We literally live across the street from each other, so I think we are like at the same dollar stores all the time.
It smells like the Dollar General, honestly. Probably dollar.
So I'm gonna use this. So you're gonna think like an inflated balloon. What do you do with an inflated balloon? All right, well, if you ever went shopping, you know you have 8 million plastic bags from every store in New York, and it ends up in the ocean killing a sea turtle or two. But maybe, just maybe, I'll take that bag and I'll stick a balloon in it. And I'll just tie it to the front of this. Now what just happened to this light? It got bigger. I know this is kind of ridiculous, but you have to realize that when you make things transcend light, it's endless. If I was in a hard spot on a job, I'm all right. I don't need that creepy uncle to hold the tissue paper now, right? They hate that joke upstairs. They're always like, stop telling that weird, you know. What I like about this is, first of all, fair warning, do not like machine gun this light like this. It will pop the balloon. The heat from your speed light will do that. Not that it's like detrimental, but you know, if grandma's got a heart condition, it's gonna suck for her. So also, I just want you to realize, like, look how much I can just put this light wherever I want just by an arm. That's like one of the great things about speed lights. So I'm just gonna do this just to look at it, just the whole balloon lights up, right? Now, this is gonna eat up light because anything you put in front of a light eats light, right? I also know that this is not gonna be true color. In fact, I bet you it warms up her skin, is what it is, right? So let's just make sure this fires. Let's turn your head towards this light a little bit. Look at me. So same power, same settings. I guarantee we eat up a little bit of light, but we're gonna work with it, okay? Let's take a look. Ate up a bunch of light. Now I have two options. I could either open up my aperture or I could raise the power of the light. Now with speed lights, I strongly recommend don't raise the power of the light unless you have to. We're at an eighth of a power, so I can do that. But if I was at more than that, I'm eating up battery power and I'm out. What I could do is I could just quickly open up. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna open up to about like 6.3, and I'm gonna go into my light. Let's check out 6.3 first before we go crazy. I don't want to speed steps. Let's just take a look. Chin down a little bit. Yep. Let's take a look. 6.3 just opened it up a whole lot, right? I mean, again, we were here. Look at how terrible that one light was. Now look at it. But look at her skin. It got warm, right? And because I'm using a friggin' balloon, it's like, you can't stress this enough. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my white balance and I'm gonna cool it down to 4760, just give or take, just to keep, again, you're shooting raw files, you can fix it in post if you want to. I'm not a fix it in post kind of guy. I go on and on about that. Let's do this one more time. Turn your head towards the light again. And then I'm just gonna take a pizza box, because why not? Yeah, turn towards that light again. Yeah, I got you. Like, yeah, now turn your head to me a little bit. Yep, right here, look at it. Yep, perfect. And let's take a look. Really clean light. And if I look at her, there's the polka dots right there on the balloon. Look at the way the shadows fall different. And what you have to notice is while both things were something in front of the light to make it bigger, look at how different the patterns look, right? The balloon hits, falls off fast. We start getting a shape to her jawline more, right? I'm focusing more on her. It's softer to the skin. You can see a different quality to her skin. It's a little underexposed. I would like it a little bit hotter. So what I'm actually gonna do, I know this is crazy because I'm shooting with a freaking balloon, but we're gonna really refine this one. I'm gonna add some power to the light. I don't wanna open up too much. I'm gonna start getting this light to start infiltrating my shot. Not cool. So I'm gonna go into group A. I'm gonna go into my exposure and I'm gonna go to a quarter just to play it safe. And we're gonna do the pizza box again, but then we're gonna change it a little bit, okay? Let's do this one more time. It turned right here. Yep, beautiful. Let's take a look. Yeah, she's a little warped because of the way I have my lens. I went a little wide angle on it. I'm gonna zoom it out to about 85, compress that space a little bit. Chin down slightly, yep, perfect. And let's take a look. Much nicer. But look at how clean that looks. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I have a question regarding white balance. Do you start at a certain temperature?
So my personal preference when I start with white balance based on this camera sensor and the lights I use, I start at 5000 K. You do not use automatic white balance when you're doing your own lighting. You're setting your white balance for the light that you are gonna create, not the light that's in the space. So if I set my auto white balance, it would start going, well, this light, that light back there, and start bouncing, and her skin turns green, and we wonder why, right? These lights, flashpoint speed lights, tend to shoot cooler tone, in my opinion. The A1 is true to 5000 K. It's amazing. Other lights, warmer, you know, so you kind of have to feel out. And also sensors and cameras tend to shoot warmer or cooler. It's just what it is. It's nature of it. It's just like shooting the type of film you like, right? So you got to kind of learn your equipment a little bit. And if you're documenting the light you're creating, learn the light source. Fair?
Yeah, so let's say I'm doing a shoot, right? I have that thing.
Right.
I take the shot and then I start working.
Well, what you should probably do is invest yourself in like a $5 gray card or a digital target. If you're not sure, if you're really off, like not going, get yourself a digital target. The most you'll spend on that is like 25 bucks. And they are amazing, especially if you start doing commercial work and you want to keep things consistent. Really great to start doing that. And then you can grade off of that. All right. So there's that. All right. Where was I going? Oh, so we're going to do the same shot. Let me do this. And I'm going to change the fill light. So let's say I did this, you know, I got a plastic bag, a balloon, I'm at a party, you know, and I put her near a table. So for lack of better conditions, this is now my table, okay? Now, if this table was wood and I shot, she'd have a warm fill. It would reflect off of wood. Okay, well, maybe someone made cupcakes. Now this is not gonna be as soft as the pizza box, right? It's gonna be a kicked fill. And what I like about having a hard fill light is her eyes start getting specular. And that means like a good catch light to them. I'm actually gonna cheat. I'm gonna cheat my brains out tonight. I don't care. You guys are already sitting, who cares? All right, I'm looking at you, look at me. Turn this way, perfect. And now I don't have to hold anything, which is awesome. I'm gonna do this so that people can see the last shot, and look at me, chin down slightly. Yep, perfect. Let's take a look. And it's just a subtle difference, but you can see that with a harder fill light. Mr. Popular over here with this ringtone. Look at this guy. Everybody clap for this guy and his ringtone. Everybody. It's all good. And it's very focused, this type of fill light. So I'm gonna go and I'm gonna pitch it a little bit like this, and I'm gonna bring this down a little bit more, because why not? I'm really stacking the chips in my favor on this one, but again, I'm using tin foil, a balloon, and a shopping bag from Bushwick, so who knows what's on that thing. All right, let's take a look. Come here, look at me. Yeah, a harder fill will just kick in where you need to go. Let's start throwing in other lights. Each flash that I pull out is gonna be a different group, right? I wanna control them, right? So this is group A, it's my key light. I got my key light in a bag, got some fill light coming from underneath, but if I wanna light our hair up and do something different from the back, yeah, this is a really beautiful photo. I'm kinda cool with the way we're looking at this, but if I zoom out, let's do a shot zoomed out and give her a little more breathing room. Yeah, let's do that. I'm getting ahead of myself. Caroline.
Oh no.
Oh no. How crazy is this? Let me get this stand out of the back of your head.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Did it hurt? No?
No.
You're good? Okay. All right, let's take a look at you. So if I give you some breathing room, let's take a look. All right, but gray sucks, right? Let's liven up the gray. So I got a couple of options when it comes to DIY, right? I could use more balloons, and balloons come in colors, and then colors translate to gels. Or I could use colored tissue paper and blast the background with a bigger light source. I'm gonna go with balloons because they're funnier, and why not? So I'm gonna use this right here, and we're gonna make a hair light on her, or we could use a backlight. Or if I use a balloon, it spreads everywhere, and one source becomes a background light and a hair light at the same time. Does that make sense to everybody? Because we're not directing the light like a strip light would. So let's use a balloon, why not? Yeah. What do I have inside the balloon?
What light source?
Oh, it's just a Speedlight.
Speedlight?
The class is Solutions with Speedlights. Welcome. I hear you. It's how half these people send up here, I tell you. I just walked in, I love it. So this one is a baby shower balloon. We're gonna do that. I don't know about a redhead with pink. We wanna do blue? Yeah, I feel like blue is more of a,
Not my color.
yeah, pink is not your color, so we'll do blue. Yeah, I mean, of the ginger species, I'd say we do pretty good with light blue.
We do.
Yeah, okay.
It's already in our skin.
Pink's already in our skin. You know, she jokes about that, but when doing makeup portfolios and things like that, you have to take into account the after shadow skin, and redheads like us tend to have a pink magenta feel to them, so you tend to shoot to cooler mediums. All right, this one better not have another Bushwick hole in it. So I'm gonna make that background light C, because if I ended up doing a fill light on her besides a bounce, I'd make that B. So I'd rather just keep my background lights in group C. Does that make sense for everybody? Cool. Let me set this light up. Any questions? We good? Is this ridiculous or is this helpful at all? It's kind of ridiculous, kind of both, right? Yeah, okay. All right, so this is a man. Listen, let me tell you something. I've been shooting for almost 20 years, and while I might be using like really expensive stuff when you guys see the other production stuff, we all started out like this. But the reason the expensive stuff works for us and we know what we're looking at when we see the expensive stuff works is because we went through all of this. Nice Walgreens bag. And we'll do this. We're in this together. If I go, you down, you go down. That's how we're doing this, okay? Deal? Worst case scenario, we get a gradation on the background. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna point it right in the middle of both where I want it to light on her, and I'm gonna spill to the background because we're doing a 2-in-1 type of deal, right? We could refine one or the other by flagging it. you know, just hiding the light from one or the other, from her or from the background, and just lighting one or the other. But we're sloppy tonight, and it's actually a lot of fun for a change. So we're just gonna do it like this. How you doing? You still doing good? Yeah. I told you it was gonna be ridiculous, but you gotta believe me. You gotta. All right, I'm just gonna do a quick. Actually, that looks pretty cold. So that's group C. I'm gonna go into group C over here. Group C mode, manual, and I'm gonna set it to quarter power. Why not? Because that one doesn't really matter to me. As long as I'm not blowing her hair out and losing detail, I think I'm okay. Let me just make sure. Oh yeah, that's bright. You know what? Let's go for it. Let's go half power. Let's go nuts. Let's go nuts. Let's go bananas. You want to go bananas?
Yeah.
She's like, yes.
Absolutely.
All right, let's take a look. Turn towards me. Let's take a look. And now we have a blue background. And we have a blue hair light over here. Yeah, there's a little bit in the frame, but whatever. The moral of the story is 2 lights, and it's not a boring photo anymore, and it's 2 speed lights with plastic bags on them and balloons and aluminum foil. The key to this is understanding what the light's capable of, where you could probably go with it, and do you really want to go there, right?
I had a question as far as the ratio between the key light and that backlight.
Yeah.
Is there like a
Formula to it.
formula that should that one?
So if I was doing this for real and I wasn't using garbage as my modifiers, typically I'd get my key light, I'd get the proper exposure for Caroline, which is right now we're shooting at f6.3, right? Now this light, because it's at a different distance, because distance is just the same as power, right? If I took a light meter reading facing this way and it was more than a stop over this light, I know she's gonna blow out, right? So if this is 6.3, but I took this light meter reading, it was f11, I'd be like, whoa, this is gonna be blown out over here. You know, so if I were to, because it's a brighter source, so I was shooting for f11, it's more light. Does that make sense to you? f6.3?
For clarification, because wouldn't F11 make it darker?
Yeah, in your camera, it's compensating for too much light. That's what makes this brighter. We're talking about zones at this point. So if I were to really refine this, if I was doing this for real, I'd meter this way towards the light. I'd make sure that the light source wasn't more than 1 stop over my key light. That way I can see that it's the same exposure on her hair as it is on the front of her within degree. I like my hair lights a little hot. I like to see like a snappy line. Some people hate that, Daniel Norton, but he doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm just kidding, Daniel. But it's a style choice at that point, but blown out is blown out. If I wanted to, I could flare the hell out of this. You guys want to try that? Yeah, let's flare it, why not? I mean, I'm shooting with garbage tonight. I can flare a light. What's up?
Why wouldn't you just move the light a little closer?
Well, you can change, once I start changing here's the reason I'm not changing the distance. I put it between the background and her evenly, so I could use 1 light for 2 zones. Once I start moving it one way or another, I'm fighting something I shouldn't have to fight. But now we're gonna totally wreck this shot. I'm gonna blast this thing, and we're gonna get a flare. Let's just get a flare. Why not? Flares are fun. And it's an effect, and it's kitschy, and you could do stupid things to your lens to do flary type stuff. Let's do this. So that's group C, we're at half power. Let's go to full power. Let's just blaze it. And if that's not enough, what I could do is lower the power of this light, open up my aperture, and that'll be even more light. So let's start one thing at a time. Calm down.
I'm calm. Are you calm?
I don't know, man. I got these people looking at me, online's freaking out. I got these flashes looking at me all weird. Let's go full power. I'm gonna just go right into that light. Let's see what it looks like, why not? Okay, so we got subtle flare. You can see that there's a wash over here, but it's not enough for me. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna lower the power of my key light, which is this bag, so the white light. Now we're doing a class on ratios. It's cool though. We're lighting, we're just lighting. We're just here, we're just a couple of guys lighting a beautiful redhead. We're good, we're good. What's wrong, you know? You can't go wrong with a redhead. Yeah, you can. You can totally. We're soulless. We are soulless people. Like, what are you talking about? So I'm at quarter power on this light. I'm going to lower it. I'm going to go down. Let's go. Group. 1/8 is 1 stop. 16th is 2 stops, which means I have to open up my lens to account for this light, which means that light's going to be that much more brighter because it's full power. But now I'm adjusting in my camera to make it brighter, right? So I'm at 6.3, 5.6. We're going to go to F4 and just pray. You ready to pray? Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's take a look. Nothing? A little bit more of a flare, but not so much. Now if I do this. That better be a good one. And now we got a flare going. So I just popped that balloon because full power creates heat. That was, what, 40 seconds between shots and it blew up? Yeah, okay. But hey, come on. We got this weird, look, Instagram would love this. They'd be like, oh, that's so artistic and creative. Oh, I love the bokeh or whatever, Instagram people say. But think of it this way. We just did that with 2 speedlights and garbage. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, once you start realizing what lights are doing, what your camera's doing, it's not so much what you have, it's what you can do. Make sense? All right. Again, I know this is like a retailer and that you should go buy stuff and sure, but I'd rather you guys be so psyched you keep growing your kits when you want to grow your kits and you're back for years and we get to see some cool stuff and we push each other because this is a community at the end of the day. All right. And I easily would not be having a career for as long as I did if other photographers didn't make me hate my life and want to get better and go crazier and crazier, And I'm very fortunate for that. Okay. So that was a bunch of DIY. That's actually pretty cool. I think,
It is really cool.
yeah, people would be like, oh my God, Caroline, you're so artistic. Oh, you're so deep, things like that. Man, everyone's going to hate me in this chat in 2 seconds. Okay, so that was like a bunch of DIY material. I think I should show you some stuff that you keep in your bag that's easy to pack, that's not a lot of money, but gives you really clean, refined light. You guys want to do that? Yeah. You guys want to do that? Yeah. Oh, look at that. They're alive. Yay. Wow. Can we just have a moment of silence for wow, this is hot. Let's get this off this light. Okay, so when it comes to speedlights, there's a lot of options for modifiers now, but before, like 2 years ago, there really wasn't. You had like rapid boxes and things like that, but for the most part, there wasn't that much. And we were all making our own mods and erectors setting things together and stuff like that. I'm going to shut this off just in case. So as opposed to this ridiculous, this actually worked out pretty well, I'm going to say. Tell you what. That's for you, buddy. That's your homework right there. All right, so I just took that off my light, which means that I can't shoot this as a bare light. It's already too much power because that I easily took a stop or two out of my light. But there's modifiers, and one of the ones what do you guys want to do? Like a small small tight, or do you want to go a little bigger and broad? Bigger and broad? Okay, I'm going to show you this. I just did this on the Instagram live stream, but this is a special one. And you can see that this is beat up to death because this has been in my kit forever. It's in every kit I have, and it's stupid inexpensive. This is a Lastolite trifold umbrella, okay? When I used to shoot Comic-Con on the go and not like actually legitimately, I used to put this in my back pocket and I'd just and go shoot stuff, and hopefully the girl would like email you, but she never does, and that's why people need to stop doing that. But anyway, it's the Lastolite trifold. So this thing that fits in my pocket turns into that size of a light. Hello, live stream. Now my light hits this, transcends, and makes a wider span of light. Let's set this thing up. So you need an umbrella adapter for this so that you can mount, right? But umbrella adapters have a shoe in them, which is really good because you can use them to just mount to a stand in general. So let's pull one of those out. This is the Lastolite one. There's plenty of other ones. The thing you need to realize if you use this specific umbrella, because it telescopes into itself, it's a fatter millimeter rod and not a lot of umbrella adapters that have a big enough socket to fit it. So make sure if you get that specific umbrella, you get something with a wider socket for the umbrella. All right, I'm going to disengage this thing. Are you doing all right?
Yeah.
You sure?
Still doing okay.
Are they creeping you out?
No.
No, not that guy?
No, it's mostly you.
It's mostly me? Come on. I'm gonna hear so much in that chat right now. All right, so let's get rid of the tin foil. Let's start over. Whoop, watch your head. I'm gonna get that out of there in a minute, but for the most part, this sounds stupid, but someone actually wrote me a question about it and I didn't realize it would be an issue. When you mount a cold shoe, you don't lock and then load. You tighten down the shoe first and then you lock down the speedlight. You could break your lock the other way, and I didn't realize that was an issue for some people, but clearly it is. All right, so this gives you a pivot point for your light. It also gives you a 5/8 socket that fits on any light stand within reason. I'm not gonna get too technical. And I'm just gonna put it right here on my articulating arm because my articulating arm can handle this much weight, so why not? So now I have something that gets my light onto a stand. clean. It's this big, keep it in your bag. You know, I recommend getting a quality one. You're gonna be tempted by cheaper adapters. When your couple $100 light hits the floor over a $20 adapter versus a $30 adapter, remember that moment, okay? Because it's a good one. Okay, I'm gonna lower this so that we don't deal with this. Look at you. Oh man, look at you. Look at that. You're so deep. You're so deep. They wonder what you're thinking. They're like, oh, is she sad? It's so blue. So I'm going to feed this through the socket. And since this umbrella is so old for me, it actually has dents in it and where I know the points of where to telescope it. But what I don't know if you guys can see this. Let's see if you can see it. When I go like this and I flash it, you can see how much of the umbrella it fills up. You see how there's at least another good chunk it's not filling up? That means it's that much less large. That's smaller in size. Smaller in size means what? Harder light source, not less diffusion, not as soft, right. Now shoot through umbrellas, because they're shoot through and not reflective, means that it's already physically closer to her by nature, which makes it softer, because if it's closer, it's bigger, right? Like my hand is really big here, right? Mm-hmm. And now it's not so big? Same thing. See? All right, so I'm gonna just zoom this out till I see it fill the umbrella. Also, keep in mind I'm using the diffuser on it because I want to fill the umbrella. Now, this is not a good option if you're trying to control the light from spilling everywhere. If I'm trying to make the background not the background and things like that, like lights in zones, not the best idea. In fact, let me scoot you back just a touch. Let me get you like right there. Yeah. So now I'm just gonna light her. So if you don't have an arm, you can mount this on a straight stand and just put it right in front of you. The stand can be in your shoulder and it's still overhead, okay? But it's a light, really light and small kit, you know? So I'm going to lower this a little more, and because I'm gonna get squishy. Now I already know that the light's gonna hit and then fall off, and we're gonna need a fill light. I know this, but we gotta start somewhere. And when you guys are lighting, I need you to realize that the closer the light is, the faster it falls off, right? So the closer she is, the faster it's gonna die off, because I'm exposing for her here, not for the light here. You know, Daniel's gonna do a demo in a couple weeks called Infinite Look on Gray Backdrop, and it's really zone system. If over here is F2, but over here is F11, there's no way I'm gonna be exposing that if I'm set for F11. Does that make sense? But this is spilling everywhere, so we're probably gonna get away with it pretty easily. All right. I'm gonna close down because we were just at F4. I'm not cool with that right now. I'm gonna go back to 6.3. I'm gonna shut off that light, this background light, because we don't need it. And I'm gonna go into this light because I lowered it for F4. I'm gonna bring it back up for F6.3, which I'm closed back down to because we're starting over, okay? All right, I'm gonna start off at a quarter power. Let's just play a game. Let's see what happens. That's so pretty.
It is.
It's so pretty. Okay, let's do this. Okay. Let's make sure that this fires. Yeah, it fires, okay. All right, let me look at you. And let's take a look. Really soft light with one speed. That's actually pretty good. I'm not hating it. Her hair looks really nice. However, I do want to open up right under that corner jawline. Now I could do that 2 ways, 3 ways, 4 ways. Okay, we're gonna do this. Okay. Jeez, man. I haven't done a demo in a while. I'm getting a little weird. I'm gonna start off with just a bounce, okay? Which you guys can carry because it's just a reflector, right? My other option would be turning this light on and using it at half the power that I'm using that one at, because it won't overpower it if it's under the amount of exposure. If it's at the same distance, yeah, let's do that, forget it. All right, I'm turning this one on. We'll do the bounce later, okay? I promise. Calm down. But this is also one of the beauties of speedlights, is that you're always gonna have, if you're using your speedlight as a trigger, you're always gonna have an extra light on you. And if it's at lens, it doesn't change the shape, which is here. It's just gonna fill in. So let's do that. I'm at a quarter power. So I'm gonna set this one to, what do you think? 16th, 32nd maybe? I can always dust in more if I want to, I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, let's start at the 16th, okay. There's always so many possibilities, and that's what drives people crazy, I feel like. All right, I'm gonna start off at a 32nd of a power, well under what this is shooting at. And keep in mind, I'm gonna watch my distance. So let me just do this really quick. I'm gonna watch my distance, because the second I go closer is the second this gets brighter. But that could work to my advantage. Let's say this is underexposed in the fill. Without even touching a button, I'm already brighter because I'm moving closer. Cool? Okay, let's do this. Whoa, did that filler in? Way too much. So I'm gonna go into this light and I'm gonna lower it down to about a 1/28th, because that looked like a ton of light to me. Let's do this. And now it's not totally washing her out. Let's turn this way where we had you before. Chin down a little bit. Turn a little bit to me. Yeah, that's it. Let's take a look at this. So we were here, and you can see the fill, right? You can see it, but it's not changing the shape of the key light, which is the key to a fill light. It's the light you don't even realize is there. It's just polishing and cleaning. I do a whole demo just on fill light. But you guys get what just happened there? Really quickly, without even lifting any other equipment up, just with what's on my camera, we just refined this shot. Cool? I'm gonna shut this off and we're gonna do it with a bounce now, okay? And the reason I'm gonna do that is, what if you're not using a flash as a trigger? What if you're just using a trigger? Or it's a different look altogether. Let's do this. I'm at 1/28th, which is almost completely drained down, which is really cool. I started at a 32nd, which clearly was way too much because it gave her like, look at that, and it's like a wall of light. She's like, ah, my eyes. And now she's like, oh, I'm pretty again. Not that you weren't before, I'm sorry. Let's go back to this. Okay, so now I'm gonna shut this light off and we're gonna do it with a bounce. And again, I really stress with Speedlight's portability. I just like that. I mean, I chuck them in backpacks that don't even look like camera bags all the time because that's what's cool about them, you know? So let's shut this off. This one's off. I'm still at a 1/4 power over here, which is still the same exposure, right? Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I just got this guy. So Elastomeric gave me this. This is awesome. If you are, you know, circle reflectors, well, if you just hate carrying those around, this is a circle reflector. Get out, you get out. My demo. Not for nothing though. Okay, so yeah, it takes a minute to get it snapped together, but I'm not questioning whether it's on me. It's always in my bag. I keep 2 Speedlights, this diffusion material with me anytime. If I don't, I never have an excuse to say like, oh, I'm not gonna get the shot. Like I could get something better than what I thought I was gonna get with just an on-camera light. You know, do I wanna deal with having to find a low ceiling or bouncing my light around or another guy with a magma? Like, I mean, not hating on other company stuff, like whatever, but gotta watch what I say now. I can't just like shoot. But this also can be diffusion material. Like this could be your tissue paper if you wanted it to be, right? So now, not only that, what I really love about this one, feel how light that is. It's like stupid, right? Like I can hold this up with my thoughts. It's crazy. All right. Also, it also has a 1/4-20 on it, so you can actually screw it into a mount and just have it there. So you don't even need like a clamp, which is dope. They gave this to me at Photokina in Germany. It's a prototype, but now they're available, so go get them. Have fun. The key to this is Elastomeric has really good reflecting and diffusing material, but it also is the fact that it's always on you. You don't have an excuse to have worse light. You have an excuse to always have it on you and make better light, which is priceless to me. Okay, let's do a bounce. Let's do white. Keep it nice and soft. Soft to soft. I like that kind of feel. Let's turn towards this light a little bit. Right there. Yeah, beautiful. Look at you. Let's take a look. And you can see how different, right? Look at how clean that is. As opposed to a light flying back at her to fill her in, it's residual light coming back in. So it's the same light, the same intensity, the same, but opposite direction. But no matter how much you want this to be brighter, it can't, because it's using the same light that you lit her with. Does that make sense to you? So it's like you can't lose. Like I'm not playing around with ratios here. My ratio is my distance to her. Make sense? Yeah? And you could do the same thing. Like I could take this diffusion off and I could take this reflectant off and put a diffuser there, get rid of this, and all of a sudden I have a, you want to do that? Do you want to do this as a diffuser before we go into a softbox? Diffuser, raise your hands. Yeah, okay, we'll do that. All right. Let me just get the skin out. The skin out. That sounds always good. I love these things. I keep on, I like, I mean, look at this. It's like this plus that umbrella in both pockets and a light, and I'm rolling. This is the Lastolight compact halo reflector. This is the diffuser. It comes in 2 different versions. The cool thing about Lastolight is that their diffusion material is always consistent. If you get cheaper boxes or cheaper diffusion and you get like 3 of those boxes, sometimes one's warmer or one is a little thinner based on which material was cheaper on the market when they were making it. This is always consistent. So that's one big thing to me, because the last thing I want to do is guess. You know, maybe this will look like the other one. I just love doing that.
The sound is satisfying.
It is. It's like the same technology as building a tent when you were like younger. I'm going to build this, and then we're going to do soft boxes, and then I don't know what we're at. Oh, we're at 6 o'clock already. What's up?
I had a question when you first mounted the umbrella. We're not showing that light. Yeah. When you first mounted the umbrella.
Yeah.
You said, we can't control that light because
It spills everywhere. Yeah.
So, is the reason why the background is coming out gray, is it because you moved her closer to the background?
Right. It's exactly why. The reason the background is even coming up is because I shrunk the ratio of her distance. So now she's closer to the same zone. If I pull her farther away, I'll probably get it darker. I won't get it black, not in this space. I'm pretty sure this floor will reflect back up anyway. But if I could, the closer I get her, the more I minimize that space, the more they're in the same zone, the more the exposures are the same. So now we have a really thick diffuser, right? It kind of looks like one of those like cartoon, like someone's jumping out of a tree kind of thing. Like, oh no, don't do it. You know? All right, let me get this out of here. So now with no umbrella, right? I mean, this is crazy. This is crazy. Done, I'm out, you know? And so with the same idea, like if I didn't have an umbrella or whatever, even if you just have a regular circle reflector and just someone to do this, it's the same thing as if you were in the sun and you were blocking that sun out to diffuse it. Same concept. I guarantee you I'm gonna lose some light with this. This is one extra stop of diffusion than that umbrella, I'm pretty sure. So just to be safe, I'm gonna give a little bit more power on my light, or I could open up, right? But I kind of don't wanna do that. So let me go into groups, this light, and I'm gonna shoot at just under a half power, like just a little bit. And I'm gonna zoom out. Oh, it's so clean. I'm gonna mess this thing up. It's gonna get covered in blood, you'll see. Like from all the stuff, all that weird stuff I shoot. All right, let me take a look. Yep, perfect. Let's take a look. Tell me, oh, cool. And you can see it's like a big open source at that point, right? But now I'm losing that reflector. So if I just give her this to hold really quick, just hold this like right there. Do like this and let go right into you. Yep, perfect. Let's take a look. Really clean, really fast, and 2 things that fit in my pocket. Like, it doesn't get cooler than that. And that's when people hate on Speedlights, I'm like, you're crazy, like, shut up. You know, like, but let's make that background dark now. Let's control the light. Let's do a smaller source on a small source, but clean, right? That's pretty clean, that's pretty nice. You're walking out of here with a bunch of more headshots, man. Look at you. She came to my studio, what, a week ago? I gave her at least 5 looks, and now you're walking out. You got this Instagram flary shot. People are gonna think you're all like really deep, you know? Yeah. You know, it's like, not to keep preaching on Lastolight or whatever, but they also have these small boxes. And then I'm gonna show you stuff by Rogue that does like really cool, flashy, bendy stuff. So this fits right in your laptop sleeve, okay? This was my go-to for a bagajillion years, okay? Done. This didn't exist years ago when we were all fighting Speedlights forever. We were making these things out of whatever we could think of. Silver for a good specularity, diffusion inside so it hits this evenly, but it's really small, meaning that background go black if I want it to be, which I'm gonna do that. And then I'll add in some other stuff to really refine this. And this is how I really like Speedlights. Small points, all built up, lots of them. You know, I get expensive with my speed lights, but I can control every aspect of my frame. I'm gonna take this off because I don't need this. Ugh. How you doing? You all right?
Yeah.
You sure? Yeah, I know it's a hard life. You got to sit there, look at me. I know. It's like you got to listen to me. Then you got to smell that balloon. I know. It's like it's terrible. The balloon is terrible. Here, look right at me. So now I'm just going to do a quick butterfly looking at her, and I'm just going to flash like that, and I can actually see where my pattern of light is or where it's hitting. Right now, I can tell you it's a ton of light coming out of that thing, and it's way too much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to limit it back to an 1/8 power, just to because I can actually see that it's going to blow her out. And that just comes with knowing your lights and your modifiers. Let's take this back to an 1/8. Let's take a look at you. Chin down a little bit. Let's take a look at what that looks like. And you see how dark that background just got? You see how blown out she just got? Cool. Well, instead of even changing the power of that light, I'm going to close down to 7.1. Why not? Before I touch anything. Yeah, now her skin's a little bit better. But you see how much we're defining her? Small point of source, less spread, means harder shadow patterns that I can sculpt. Now, we take a pizza box, because why not? It always goes back to the pizza box. You know how many of these I got in my house? It's like, and you know that pizza place that lived like right by us? It's like, yeah, Millie's is good pizza. I like it. They're good guys. Let's take a look. And she's all filled in, really clean, super fast light. It is a little on the hot side, but if you notice, see that? There is skin texture. So I'm cool with it. But for a beauty portrait to show really crispy skin, it's great. Now that background's dark. In fact, let me give her some breathing room so that we can see that background going dark. And then we'll throw in hair lights and things like that, and we'll really refine this out, okay? So you see how dark that background got? I mean, when we were shooting with even just a balloon, look at how much background we got. And then of course you were super moody and deep, and I was like, what is your thoughts? You know, things like that. Now we're over here, we're filled in. She has that cheek line that I really like when you get that cheekbone to really cut like that. This is a good way to get a softer look, but controlled. Now let's cut across and do a really tight hair light that won't light my background like that balloon did, because that balloon went everywhere, right? So I got this light already set up back here. So I'm gonna relax this light down like this, right? And then I got these guys. This is Rogue. This is awesome because it's like 6 things in one. It's awesome. I kept these in my bag for years. So this is a flash bender system. This is actually 2 of the systems in one bag. So just to show you how small they can pack down. And I actually have some of these systems to give away tonight, so that's pretty awesome. Because you guys just bared through a lot of stuff tonight. Okay. This can mold into whatever I need. So if my flash is here, I can bounce it off of it. I can flag it away from things I don't need it to be in front of. I can roll it and make it a snoot and just have a spot if I need it, okay? But there's also other pieces to it. This is my favorite thing ever, and so far, this is one of the only things that does this. There are a couple of other things, but I feel like this is like the one I really like. You take this, you put a little Velcro, you bound it over like this, and I think we're gonna end out tonight with that clean shot that I showed you of Caroline before with like the super clean light. And now I have a strip light, okay? So now it's basically a hair light. It's not gonna go anywhere but where I put it, and it's diffused to be even, and it fits in my bag super easily. And that was the one thing that sold me on this. This is all stuff that I bought while I was doing just nothing but speed lights, and I went through everything out there, everything. And I'm telling you, you spend more money on the cheap stuff over and over again that looks like it might be okay, and then there's just stuff that was really refined, and you never look back. So I'm gonna strap this to my light.
What speed light is that?
This is all Flashpoint speed lights. Flashpoint. This is Adorama's third-party brand. So it's really affordable. It's good for what it is. Let me have you face that way. So here's what I'm gonna do. Because speed lights do not have modeling lights and I can't see what I'm looking at, I'm just gonna flash it till I see where it's going and how I like it. So right now it's like, well, not even close to where I want it. In fact, I'm going to spin this around and I'm gonna get it closer to her, and I am going to spin this around like that. And I'm going to bring this back up. So now it's closer to her. And when I flash it, I'm looking at, oh, you know what? These heads don't lock too well, huh? Like this, cool. So now what I'm doing is I'm trying to find a point in which the weight doesn't too much for the head to collapse on it. And I'm gonna fire it. Cool, so I'm looking at it and it's gonna hit right here, not here, and not past her. And a good hair light isn't directly on your subject. In fact, you would kind of go like this with it and let it dust forward, but I kind of want a hard line on this one so you can really see it. So that's in group C, so we're gonna turn on group C, obviously. All right, so let me turn this on mode. I'm gonna go into manual, I'm gonna fire it. It's still in full power because we blew that balloon up before, which was awesome, right? No one does that up here. It's okay, you're welcome. So I'm actually gonna set it to an 8th power, which is what this is set to. But if you notice an 8th power, she's this close to it. At my exposure, it's not gonna be enough. So I'm gonna go, let's go to a 1/4 power just to play it safe and we'll take a look at it, okay? Cool, let's do this. Let's take a look. And there's the hair light. That was pretty fast, actually. You actually can see her starting to separate off that background, right? And you could gel it, you could do all sorts of things. I could refine it, I can make it less intense, but I actually kind of like, this looks like a hair portfolio to me. Now, what am I missing on that shot? Oh my God, I'm sorry. Okay, cool. So now what am I missing on that shot? The fill light, right? She still has that hard shadow under there. She looks like she's spotlit. That's cool, but I really liked when we had her all filled in. Pizza box or reflector? Where are we going? Pizza box or reflector? Reflector, raise your hands. Okay, let's reflector. You guys are like, I'm done playing games at a kid's party. Let's get this going. One day, you guys are gonna be on set and going through a garbage can one day and you're gonna be like, all right, that guy was legit. No joke, I've taken this white shirt off and I've cut it up and made it into diffusers. I've stolen bed sheets from every motel on tour when I was shooting that stuff. You're gonna think of it. This is how you're gonna think from now on, watch. So let's take a look. Beautiful, wow. All right, atta girl. I want more of that hair in this shot because I feel like we had this great hair look to you. She's like, I do. We should actually shoot like a, we'll figure this out. Let's do this and boom. Nice. So you can see like she's really coming off that background and we could put another one on the other side and do 2 hair lights that really snap her off. And we could really take her off of that backdrop, really clean this up. You like this, Heather? We're good. You want to check this out? Look, I'm really cool on Instagram. Watch. Look, I'm really cool. See that? Yeah, right. Bokeh, right? Yeah, it's great. Sorry, it's just enough out there. Let's set up one more hair light on the other side, and then we'll do the triangle light that I did in the beginning with her when I showed you. We'll see. I never tried it, so we're gonna fail together. It's gonna be awesome. You guys are going down with me. I'm referring to this, by the way. So this is when I met Caroline. I shot her headshots for her. I did this with studio lights with 3-foot strips. But let's try to do that with Speedlights tonight, right? You down for that?
So down.
So down, she's so down. We're almost at it, I promise. All right, I'm gonna set this up. So I'm gonna set this into group C also, because if I can keep them symmetrically distance-wise, power-wise would make the most sense too. Plus, I don't have to worry about setting another group. So I'm gonna set this up and I'm gonna change this to group C. And I'm gonna put this in here. So I'm gonna open up another one of those strips really quick and we're gonna get a double hair light and then we're gonna have a nice refined looking light. And what do you know, I have one already built. Who knew? Is everybody good? We got any questions? So we're good?
So generally for hair lights, grids are good because it's not spilling anywhere else.
When it comes to rim lights, you have schools of thought, right? For this, I want that dark background and I want the light to be the separation. So when you see this, if that light was open in that grid and it was spilling on that background, that hair light wouldn't be as prominent, right? Because that gray would be lighter. I like having this snap. In fact, she's got great hair. Why not use it? Oh my gosh. Okay, so we're gonna do the bounce. We do 2 hair lights. Let's see. 2 hair lights, really vibrant hair, punching off of a darker backdrop, filled in light, really soft overhead, but controlled, shaped bone structure, creamed out skin, snappy eyes. We got Speedlight light. Cool. Yeah, you guys are awesome. Like, Jesus. All right. This is not going off. This is totally dead. Yeah.
So your second Speedlight.
My second, the one over there, right.
This one. Where is that falling off? It's falling off.
I have them set to exactly the same angle and point. In fact, the reason it looks different is because she actually turns her head, which changes the angle of the light. A model moving is just like moving a light. It's the exact same thing.
And the power is the same on both of
The
them?
power is the same on both of my hair lights. Yeah, so we're looking at an 1/8 power on my key, 1/4 power on my rims. Okay, and we're using different modifiers, different diffusion. Things are different. You know, it's just how it is. But that's a pretty clean shot with just a bunch of speed lights that apparently you guys all walked in here hating, you know, because you're racist. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Like, just wait till the comments, like, wow. All right. So that was a lot of DIY material, a lot of options as far as stuff you can grab off the shelf. Why don't we try to do that shot? This is where I'm gonna like totally lose you guys. Like, this is gonna be terrible. Why don't we try to recreate this shot that I did with studio lighting? This is right out of camera. I didn't touch this thing, right? So let's try to, I'm gonna try to recreate this with just speed lights, which I haven't done. So it'll be fun. You guys down for that? Okay, cool. Let's do this. Here we go. So I'm gonna take off my key light. First of all, I'm gonna set them all into separate groups. And the reason I'm doing that is because every light that's wrapping around here, I can refine like to the 10th of a stop, which is a big deal. So here's a third strip. So now 1, 2, 3, right? And we're gonna go to this gray. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull her closer to me so that goes darker because I don't even wanna deal with that background. If it goes black, let it go black. In fact, her hair is so great metallic, it'll look great against dark. Actually, I think I shot you against black, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I remember. I know exactly what I did. Okay. So let's get you to stand up, actually. And I'm gonna pull you. Let's go right here. Come with me. Come right here. Okay. So the idea behind this light is it's kind of like a ring light, but it's refined. It's not a flat light. It's not gonna make her nose disappear. It's also so that the catch lights in the eyes wrap around a little bit and they're not these like 2 spots. And it's a forward light, so it flattens out all the textures. All right, so 1, 2. All right, I'm going to set them. This is group C, so I'm gonna set this into group B. All right, group B. And then I got this light, which I'm gonna throw as a quick underneath. But I feel like I'd probably have better luck with this stand. This might get a little like, oh, it's too quiet and awkward. It's kind of like my prom date. You know, it's like, watch me crash and burn on this one. This is gonna be great. You ready for this? I'm really curious if this is gonna happen. I gotta tell you, I've never done this with Speedlight, so. What I showed you was 3-foot versions of these. So it's gonna be a bit different. Do you have faith? Do you guys have faith? Do you? You have faith? You sure? I don't know, man. You're certain. You're certain. You sound like you're from Staten Island. I don't know if I can trust that. Jersey? Oh, no, it's the same thing. Okay. The fact that you all laughed at that shows that there's some crazy things going on. All right. I'm going to lift this up. I feel like you're just a little too under where I want you to be for this shot. Well, let's take a shot. Okay, I'm gonna set this to A. This is going to be to C. A, B, C. I'm gonna put them all at a 1/4 power and I'm gonna rip her retinas out of her eyes and it'll be great. So let's do this. This could totally suck. In fact, I'm betting that this right now will suck. How many of you guys think it'll suck? Raise your hands. Oh, really? Wow. You can walk. I know you got, Jersey's got faith in me. That's the first time Jersey has ever had faith in me.
I got you.
You got me? All right, so group A, I'm gonna set to an 1/8. I'm gonna set group B to an 1/8 and C to an 1/8. However, I do think group C, which is my bottom light, I'm going to end up lowering because the lower the bottom light goes, the more of a jawline you're gonna get because it's less of an up light. And I like more of a jawline. I like women with good skulls, you know? I don't know what's happening anymore. All right, group A, we're gonna set this to an 1/8. Group B, we're gonna set this to an 1/8. Group C, we're gonna set this to an 1/8. And I'm gonna go to 6-3 because I kind of like that. All right, you. Can you see the white of all these?
Yeah.
Okay, so if she can see the white, that means the light's gonna touch her, right? Oh boy, watch me die on live stream now. Let's take a look. Whoa, is that a lot of light? Oh. That's Are You Afraid of the Dark, right? So let's lower this down to death, right? Let's go to a 30-second around the board. I might even close down on my camera. I'm gonna leave that on there. I'm gonna let people see my failure. Let's do it. You know what? Right off the bat, gonna make this a 64th and everything out of 32nd. Let's just do it off the bat because I gotta redeem myself hard for this. And someone's texting me, which means they totally just saw that. All right, you. Let's take a look. Okay, we're getting there, right? So if I'm just gonna open up to F4 just to check it out. Just to see where my lights are. Actually, that's not bad. We're getting there. All right, so what I'm really seeing is that the lights that I'm using are very narrow because of the grids. That's kind of the nature of these lights. It's what it's gonna be. What I'm really gonna do is I'm gonna physically lower this light, and I'm gonna pull it back, and I'm going to try to shrink this light down a little bit more. In reality, these stands are just too tall for what I'm trying to do right here. But it's okay. We're gonna get through this together. We're close. That's not bad. There's a shadow on that side, which is not cool, which means that the lights are not symmetrical, which I'm not cool with. The top two are at 32nd, and the bottom is at 64th. I mean, they're literally like on top of her. So I'm gonna close to 5, 6. I'm going to up a little bit on A, and up a little bit on B, just under the 32nd and 2/3. Whoever asked that. Let's take a look. Oh, that's actually pretty nice, but I don't think this light even fired on the left. Yeah, it's firing. All right, so then something's not. It is physically further back, but that's because it's actually on a stand that can't go lower than that stand. So I made it spread more. Does that make sense to everybody? But I'm gonna go into B, which is this light, and I'm gonna add in, let's do a 16th, why not? Let's take a look. That light doesn't even look like it's firing at me. Let's take a look. Oh, hold on. We go like this. Let me see what we're looking at. Okay. I kind of want to like put you on a box or something actually, so you're like a little higher. I used to have a sandbag. Oh, here we go. You want to stand on a sandbag? Yeah. We're doing everything else makeshift. Let's do that makeshift. Yeah. I knew this was going to be a train wreck. It's all right, though. You guys need to see failure, I think. I mean, let's step back a little bit. Yeah, that's good. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, whoa, we're close. We're getting there. So now, instead of even touching the power of these lights, I'm going to close down. Let's see what 7.1 looks like. Yeah, dude. For Speedlights, look at that. Look at that. If I just did this, actually. Hold on. Wow, this is like the slowest moving demo I've ever done. Hold on. Yeah. That's pretty clean. Now, if I don't make it look like it's in an ominous space and I just frame her with hair, look straight at me. So I'm at 120 now, millimeter. Whoop, bad shot. That's better. Nice. So, moral of that story is, even though small source, big source. You see the difference though? Also, the one on the right is color graded, the left is a raw file. You see how the chin is just barely that? We could actually just flatten that chin out even more by how? Adding power to that bottom light. You want to do that? Let's do that. This is C, I think. So let's go into C. Caroline, why am I doing this? Why am I doing? Yeah, why are you doing this? Why'd you even show up tonight? What is this? What is this? All right, let's take a look. I raised it 2/3 of a stop because I don't want it to blow away her jawline. You relax your mouth a little bit. Yeah, that's great. Let's take a look. Nah, I could go a little more actually. Let's go into just under a 16th. Go keep straight, because if you go one closer to a light, it's gonna go too bright, so stay straight. Look right here. Yep. Let's take a look. Yeah, so you see how much that just changed in just 2/3 of a stop? and you can keep on dialing this and dialing this, but I don't want to lose her nose. I'm also curious, like, so now they're side by side. If I took this off of raw files, right? And I put this into vibrant colored JPEG, because we're in the middle of the muck right now, so I'm just doing whatever I want. I'm gonna put this onto vibrant JPEG as like a fake color grading. Let's just do this. Whoa, one light didn't fire. You need the ring. You need the 3 rings. You need the, what's that Lord of the Ring thing? 1 ring to rule them all. Nice. Okay, so yeah, this is flat color because of raw file. This is a JPEG with vibrant color. But you see like how even and clean that got? And we could sit here and keep on trying to like really run this through a ringer. But the moral of this is sometimes bigger light's better, but doesn't mean speedlights suck. Let's take a really quick look through what we just did. So we got 2 hair lights. We got single hair light. We got overhead super soft diffusion. Look at that on the left. It's like a night and day difference. We got our Instagram, I'm cool, look at me, I'm so like deep and everyone thinks I'm awesome, you know. I mean, we did look at this, and not for nothing, we started over here. Look at that journey we just took together. I know, we rationed out the food. It was long. One guy just wouldn't shut up, you know, but we got through it, and we were gonna eat Tony, but we didn't eat Tony. We got through it. Listen, I just want you guys to realize that, you know, the first light you guys always buy is gonna be a speed light usually, you know what I mean? And just because it's on your camera doesn't mean that's where it dies. Just because your light's $60 and not $600 doesn't mean it sucks. And just because you didn't buy a softbox doesn't mean you can't make light however you want it to look with garbage from a kid's birthday party after they realized how horrible their parents are. Okay, so